After the age of 50, it can really feel like your health is standing at a fork in the road. One path, well, it looks like a slow, predictable decline. But the other, that's a path of real, sustained energy and vitality. It's a huge contrast, right? But the direction you go isn't really up to fate. It's decided by a bunch of small choices you make day in and day out. So let's break down what those are.
80%. Just look at that number for a second. Let it sink in. This isn't some random statistic. It's a number that could literally define the quality of your life for the next 10, 20, even 30 years, especially once you're over 50.
So what's behind that 80%? It means that 4 out of 5 major health problems people deal with later in life, they aren't inevitable. Not at all. They are preventable. They're a direct result of our day-to-day habits. And that means the power is almost completely in your hands. So the question is simple, but it's a big one. Which group are you deciding to join starting right now?
To make this super clear, let's get practical. Let's follow the story of two guys. They're both 53 years old. They're starting from basically the same place, but their daily habits, man, they're sending them toward two completely different futures.
Okay, on the left, let's call him the ignorer. You can just see it in his posture, right? Slumped over, kind of tired looking. He's bought into the idea that aches and pains are just a part of getting older. Now look to the right, this is the investor. He's standing tall, looks confident, full of energy. For him, aging isn't about decline. He sees his health as his #1 asset, and it's one that needs daily investment.
So what's the real difference between these two guys? It's not one giant decision they made. It all boils down to how they handle 5 key areas of life, what we're going to call the 5 pillars of health. And just like with money, the small choices they make in these areas start to compound over time, leading to these wildly different outcomes.
And here they are, the big 5. These are the foundations for your future. We're talking nutrition, the fuel you're putting into your tank. Then there's movement, how you use that fuel. Third, we have sleep. That's your body's nightly repair crew. Fourth is stress, the silent factor that can totally wreck everything else. And finally, screening, your own personal proactive defense system. Let's see how our two guys handle each one.
First up, nutrition. The ignorer, he's all about convenience. Fast food, processed junk, sugary drinks, whatever's easy, not what's good for him. The investor, though, he thinks ahead. He makes whole foods, lean protein, and plenty of vegetables a priority. It's not a diet to him. It's just smart fueling for his body.
Next, let's talk about movement. The ignorer's life pretty much revolves around a chair. Office chair, car seat, the couch. For him, exercise is that thing he's always going to start tomorrow. But the investor, he isn't some super athlete. He just makes sure movement is part of his day every day. Taking the stairs, a quick walk, a little strength training. The difference is huge. For him, it's just a habit, not some big heroic effort. Let's move on to pillar 3, sleep. Oh man, this is a big one. The ignorer is often up late, scrolling on his phone, acting like sleep is some kind of luxury he can't afford. He wakes up exhausted and just pounds coffee. But the investor gets it. He knows sleep is non-negotiable. It's when his body actually heals and recharges. He shoots for a solid 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, making it a top priority.
Now for a really critical one, stress. The ignorer's mind is like a pressure cooker that's always on. Work, money, family, it just builds and builds, creating this chronic, low-grade inflammation. The investor, on the other hand, he's built himself a toolkit to deal with stress. Maybe it's a few minutes of meditation, a hobby he loves, or just calling a friend. He knows he's got to release that pressure before it does real damage.
And our last pillar, screening. Honestly, this one's a total game changer. The ignorer lives by that old motto, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. A lot of times it's because he's just afraid of what he might find out, but the investor sees it completely differently. For him, regular checkups are like essential maintenance on his most valuable asset. He knows the real key isn't just fixing problems, it's finding them before they turn into a crisis.
Okay, so we've seen the 2 different sets of choices. But what's the end game? What are the real consequences? The path the ignorer is on, it's not free. There is a very steep price to be paid for doing nothing, and it's measured in a lot more than just years of your life. This gets us to a really key difference: knowledge. See, the investor understands something we could call a screening trigger. What is that? It's just knowing that, for example, hitting age 50 is a trigger for a colonoscopy, or that being tired all the time isn't just getting old, it's a trigger to get your thyroid checked. It's this specific, actionable knowledge that only about 20% of people really use that gives them a massive, massive advantage. And that gap in knowledge leads directly to this. The ignorer's path isn't just a physical gamble, it is a huge financial one.
Just one health crisis, one that could have been prevented or caught way earlier, can easily become a $100,000 mistake. It can wipe out retirement savings and create an insane amount of stress. That right there is the devastating, real-world cost of doing nothing.
But look, it does not have to be this way. You don't have to totally reinvent your life overnight. Becoming an investor in your own health is all about making small, smart choices, and then just doing them over and over. So what does a simple investment strategy actually look like?
Here it is, your starting 4-point plan. It is simple, but it is so powerful. Number 1, screen. Don't just think about it, actually book that appointment. 2, move. A 20-minute walk every day is a fantastic place to start. 3, upgrade. Make one tiny nutritional switch, like swapping out one soda for a glass of water. And 4, de-stress. Learn one simple technique, like 5 minutes of deep breathing. That's it. That's the beginning.
So it all comes down to this one question. Your future self is either going to pay the price for the things you ignored, or they're going to thank you for the investments you made. That decision, it's not made 10 years from now, it's made today. So what is the one small investment you are going to make in your health right now that your future self will thank you for? Because they're counting on you.